Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. London's murder rate overtakes New York City's for the first time ever. 12 murders in 19 days. Now you might be thinking, if only London had strict gun control, we wouldn't see all these murders. But oh no, wait. London does have strict gun control. It's almost as if liberals are spreading fake news when they claim the fewer the guns, the lower the crime rate. Not in London. It's almost as if homicide isn't a weapon problem. It's a person problem, because guns don't kill people, people kill people. In London, people kill people with knives. This, of course, prompted our favorite British pundit, Piers Morgan, who I do actually like, by the way, even though he is fantastically wrong on gun control and our Constitution. This prompted Piers Morgan to defend the gun control policies that left these 12 victims in 19 days unarmed and unable to defend themselves. In fact, Morgan took it a step further, insinuating that a full ban on all firearms here in the United States was what the Founding Fathers intended. Morgan said, and I quote here, "The Second Amendment was about arming people as part of a well-regulated militia, not as a bunch of unregulated Rambos. Have you studied the history of the Second Amendment? Try reading up on it. It was never intended to mean an individual's right to bear arms outside of a well-regulated militia." So, a well-regulated militia. It's the first argument liberals make when they're trying to take away our guns, right? Never mind that the Heller ruling from the Supreme Court reaffirmed the Second Amendment protects individuals' right to bear arms. Let's take a quick look at history, like Piers suggests, at the history of our Second Amendment. Let's talk about the meaning of a well-regulated militia. First of all, we have to start with the obvious question. Where did the Founding Fathers ever write or indicate that the Second Amendment wasn't intended to include individuals' right to bear arms? Or that a well-regulated militia excludes individuals? Mr. Piers Morgan, if you've got a piece of history somewhere that we haven't seen, please share. Looking at the context of the time when the Second Amendment was written, well-regulated by the federal government would have been contradictory to the entire point of the Second Amendment, being necessary to a free state that distrusted national government, and for good reason. The point of the Second Amendment was to provide defense to citizens against a tyrannical standing army. So why would the founders give the same government that controlled the army power to control individuals' right to bear arms to defend themselves against such a government? That doesn't make any sense. Now, before you say the founders meant state militias to protect against a standing national army, let me ask you this. If the founders meant state militias only and not individuals' rights, why didn't they say so? But the Second Amendment says the right to keep and bear arms is retained by the people. Not the federal government, not the state government, by the people. You know, individuals. In the context of the times and the usage of well-regulated, the phrase indicates the freedom of the people to self-regulate or organize themselves individually or with others as militia. As Alexander Hamilton wrote so clearly in Federalist Paper number 29, if circumstances should at any time oblige the government to form an army of any magnitude, that army can never be formidable to the liberties of the people while there is a large body of citizens, little if at all inferior to them in discipline and use of arms, who stand ready to defend their rights. It's a little ironic then, isn't it, that 241 years later, since America fought for her independence from a tyrannical British crown, that a British man is still trying to convince us that we have no right to bear arms. That tyranny is literally why we broke away from you in the first place. And that is my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you like the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have a good night.